The meeting of the Plaquemines Council as sole governing authority of the Plaquemines Port Harbor Terminal District is now called to order. The machines are open.
Councilmember McCarthy. Thank you.
Let the record reflect that 7 council members or commissioners are present and 2 are absent, those being Commissioner LaFrance and Commissioner Newsom. Next item on the agenda.
Item 2, executive session. There are none. 3, status report by the executive port director.
So good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. We continue moving forward with our priorities. First off, I'd like to report that we resolved the ferry landing emergency repair slope analysis issue and approved the port's contractors. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, so we approved the task order for the contractor to move forward with the work, and we will provide bi-weekly updates on the status. I did send a forecast on the time for everyone on email yesterday, and we will continue to provide updates on that. Additionally, this week, we received an update from DOTD on the new ferry landing replacement. So not the emergency repairs, the replacement, and also on the new build ferry boat. These projects are both fully funded by DOT grants, and the ferry landing placement is still under negotiations with Hanover and Hardesty, and the new ferry build, the boat itself. The contract was actually awarded to Pelican Marine, and both projects are estimated to be completed within 4 years from the date that the contract is initially awarded. We sent a master plan development review calendar invite to all of the port commissioners for a meeting where the Bridges Group will be here to provide an initial, a preview of the master plan before we finalize it at the end of May. And in that meeting, we also invited the parish president, we invited Senator Connick, Representative Burrow, as well as David Vitter. Our plan is to complete the master plan on the 30th of May. I'd like to applaud the port staff for completing 99% of our policy manuals for the office and for finance. We're doing some final editing, but I'm very happy with what I'm seeing, and I can tell you the staff has really worked diligently to get this done. We are starting to completely redo our policies for the ferries and for the rescue boats, and we're aiming to have a full, renewed set of policies for the boats for our maritime operations by June 30th of this year. And as you remember, at the beginning of the year, we had two priorities that we said we're going to really focus on: completing the master plan and redoing our policies and procedures. Next, I'd like for everyone to please join me in congratulating the Deputy Director, Ms. Foss. She completed her Maritime Port Executive Program last month. This is an extensive course offered by the International Association of Maritime Port Executives. It is a very, very intensive course, and she interacted with port executives from all over the country. So we're happy that she was finally able to get that under her belt. I attended the House Transportation Committee meeting on this Monday with a green card, along with David Vitter, to support Representative Wright's port bill, and it was received very well. And then last but not least, it is time for us, as we transition to closing out the master plan, to start to introduce the rebranding initiative. And why? I mean, most of our global shippers and ocean carriers, they really don't understand our strategic geography. I mean, we're often, when we're Googled, Plaquemines Port, Plaquemines Parish is often confused with the city of Plaquemines, which is over 200 miles away. And it just really confuses that whole geographic advantage. So the value proposition that we have, that we know is very strong, is, I mean, we turn bigger ships easier and faster today. We do it better and faster than any other port, deepwater port on the lower Mississippi River because of our strategic geography. And so we want to make sure that in this rebranding initiative that we really leverage that. So you will be receiving invites. We'd like to have a couple of meetings next week. We're going to set it up for Microsoft Teams, and we'll try to make it as convenient as possible. I mean, it's, 30 minutes to 45 minutes at the most. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Mr. Director, do you have anything from your staff, any reports?
That's it.
Kim, next item on the agenda. Oh, any questions from the audience? From the staff? From the table? Commissioner Jurisic.
Yes, Mr. Tillotson, so when you went to Baton Rouge, did you testify on the right bill?
I testified that we support the rights bill.
You want to give a little bit of a history of the bill, a little bit of what, a brief summary of it?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, we went there after having a personal meeting with Representative Wright, myself, and David Vitter, and a representative from APM. And we had a couple of recommendations for that bill. And one of them was on the board, to increase the deepwater port, the inland port, and the coastal port representatives from 1 to 2, to give us a little more ability to make sure that we have more than enough, people on the team to really make, the right decisions in moving forward. And the other one was that we had them to clarify that anything that we do, it has to come in at a majority vote. Representative Wright took those changes and he actually added them. So that's part of the bill. The bill is really about building a master plan for the state. It has the chairperson falling under the governor's office, but the board itself, will sit under DOTD.
How does that affect us operating on our own?
It does not have any consolidation components to it at all. It is all about creating a Louisiana state master plan and strategy for our Louisiana ports. And I'd like to just add to that, I mean, we're comfortable with being in this conversation, and I hope to be a participant on that board because we're going to be the first port to finish a new master plan, so we'll be leading from the front.
And our master plan is our master plan.
That is correct.
They don't get no part of our master plan.
Our master
have to
plan
share
is
it?
our master plan. Unfortunately, like our market study, it becomes a public document, so we will put it on our website and it will be open to the public. But the thing that we did with our master plan is try to set the example for the other ports. So for us, if I'm sitting on that board, I've already been through, all of the pains of, the tedious actions and tasks of putting together, our own master plan. And so that's just going to pave the way.
And my concern is if the state develops a master plan, will it trump ours? Will it make all this work we've done, null and void because we put a lot of money and effort in this? And that's my concern with this. Anytime legislation takes place to lean towards consolidation. I know we don't want to use that word. We don't want to consider that, but I understand having to be at the table with them because if not, you don't have a voice. But I do have concerns about it, just like last year, and that's all I have.
Commissioner, that's a great concern. And, one of the things that we've been focused on with our master plan is developing it up from the bottom up. So what we're looking for is a bottoms up approach and a top down refinement. So we want to go in and we want to tell our legislators what we as the professionals in the port business think that we need to be doing moving forward. And if there's some refinement that needs to take place because of how we prioritize projects across all of the ports, I think that's okay, as long as, you know, the hard work that we've done, the priorities that we set, you know, we can continue to move those priorities forward.
Commissioner Gui?
So the Wright bill, as I envisioned it, was going to pass. It was going to pass. And so being able to interject those amendments, I think was to our advantage. Otherwise, we could have been left out in the cold.
Yeah, that's correct. 2 weeks ago, the bill was introduced, and it was a catastrophe on the floor. And I know that Representative Wright left the room pretty upset about the way that everybody responded. We didn't have a problem, but there were some issues with DOTD, and it just turned out that it was a misunderstanding. And so they clarified things within the bill. And so to come back now, I think we're in a good position. Hopefully, Plaquemines Port will have a seat on that board, and we will have, you know, some input on the direction that we go in. So thank you.
Well, it would be good to get the seat. That would be a nice thing to happen. And then you mentioned on the rebranding. I had the opportunity to meet with you today about that, and what I took away was what the rebranding is going to do is to give us the ability to respond quicker and more accurately to prospective customers, and even in our grant writing process, this will actually bolster our position. I urge all of the members to meet with this and give your input, because it's coming around the corner. We're going to have to make a yay or nay decision. So try to be more informed on it. I was very impressed, because in today's world, that is today's world, you got to be quick to respond, and otherwise people are going to look somewhere else. And to clarify where we are.
Yeah,
Not up the river, we're down the river.
we're down the river. That's correct, and you make a very good point. And when our district was put in place, you know, our brand worked. But today, the global market just moves in a totally different way. Decisions are made in a different way, and you know, we need to reposition ourselves. But I'd just like to let Ms. Wegner just make a couple of comments, you know, on what she's hoping to accomplish with the meetings that we schedule next week.
I appreciate your comments, Dr. Gui, and your time today to review the rebrand proposal. Basically, I want to echo Charles's sentiments to say that in the 10 months that I have been with the port, what I have learned is, number one, globally, as well as even just within our state, people don't know where we are located. They confuse us with Plaquemine, Louisiana, which is located by Baton Rouge. But when they get a view of the river and they truly understand what our 81-mile district looks like, they can really grasp how we can turn bigger ships faster. So that's a big piece of it. And then what you mentioned about how it can even assist us with grants is the style guide that we can do. We need to have a cohesive and consistent look, feel, our colors, our fonts, all of those things, because then that puts us forward. Like when Heather does our RAISE grant, we want all of those to look the same as that grant. Everything moving forward is consistent, cohesive. It's a nice package. So that's our goal, as well as with redesigning the website. We don't have good search engine optimization built in, so we're missing out when people look for us, try to find us on the internet. And in 2024, that is absolutely crucial, that we need to have someone who is an expert in website design and search engine optimization come in and get us situated to really start to attract those bigger clients. And the next phase, of course, is going to be working with our community even more. So there's a very big picture here that we're trying to achieve. I appreciate that.
And if I could just kind of close out, I mean, I think the timing is right. We're wrapping up our master plan. We're refining our policies. That master plan and our policies and all of that, I mean, that's the type of data points that the branding agency will really need to look at to understand who we are and how we want to position ourselves in the market moving forward. And I'd just like to close with, I mean, I have full confidence in Ms. Wagner. When we interviewed her for her position, we talked about rebranding, and I've personally been through 2 rebranding initiatives before in my career. And everything that she talked about then and everything that she's doing now is, she's right where we need to be, and I'm excited about, what we're gonna look like next year. Thank you.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one, I'm really concerned about the whole part of work with the state. I understand that it's very important in our position to be at the table, and if we do too much objection, we could be left out. But I'm still concerned about, and even the language about the turnaround, I think I told Charles this. I heard the lady that's over the pole director at a regional planning meet, somewhere she said we can turn shit around faster. So that was her language, and I think I told you that. She actually said that in her speech that she would describe in the Port of New Orleans with that same language. And a part of us rebranding, I think we wasn't branded. So it's not that we rebranded. We just, I mean, I'm just saying, we using the word over and over, but we really wasn't branded at all, so we just making a port known. But I'm really concerned about all of what we're doing, and the state come in for folks that been around longer than us, way longer than us, and the politics of the state. I'm not gonna hope, and I'm gonna be praying that we get a seat at the table, because if we don't get a seat at the table in the big scheme of Louisiana politics, we can be co-op. So I just hope whatever diligence we need to do to make that happen, we need to be on that to make sure that doesn't happen.
Commissioner Schultz?
Yes, I kind of echo Mr. Jursich and Mr. Edwards' point with Mr. Wright's bill, especially the week prior. I watched that committee also, and it was a disaster. And some of his comments in testifying was very concerning, along the lines of sometimes we're sent here to be leaders and we don't necessarily need to listen to the people that elected us. I was shocked that a representative said that. Like I said, I'm concerned that it's just the start of state, not takeover, but flexing their muscles, and especially by some of the comments testifying in support of the bill the previous week, and listening to the objections from the other 3 ports. I know you didn't speak at that meeting. I saw you there, and everything, but so that's my concern. Like I said, so I yield.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point that you make, Chris, and I think the other 3 ports that actually put in red cards and they were against the bill, they're small ports, and they all admitted themselves that they really don't do master planning, and they don't know how this really, works for them, because when opportunities come, they take the opportunity and go to the state and ask for money. And so this initiative really is forcing us all to look at planning and putting together a master plan. And, when you look at the master plan, I encourage everybody to look at the master plan. Just Google the master plan for the state of Texas. It's pretty extensive. And there's some really good information in there. There's some good, marketing initiatives in there, some good planning initiatives. And so that's what we hope to kind of bridge that. I heard their concerns, and they are smaller. I don't know that I share all of their same concerns. And I just don't believe that it's going to hurt us to be involved in long-range planning.
Commissioner McCarty?
I'm excited about the rebranding process. It's an opportunity to express ourselves in a way that will allow people to understand more about what we're doing, where we're going, and where we've been, our history. So they say a picture says 1,000 words. Well, we're trying to say that we're not only the gateway to Louisiana, but the central United States from the Gulf of Mexico. And that if somebody can look at our image and catch that without knowing what we are, who we are, just by looking at our image, that would be perfect. So New Orleans has a fleur-de-lis on top of a wave, and they use the colors blue and green, which I don't understand why. Because if I did their logo, I would have used Mardi Gras colors, and that would have said it all. So I think we have a great opportunity to say something about Plaquemines Parish and the port at the same time.
I'm excited too. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Commissioner Koknovich?
Just want to say that I don't trust Wright's bill. I don't trust any of them in the state with the Port of Plaquemines. And on the rebranding, I think we ought to use green and gold. I think Dr. Gui would up.
No, thank you.
I think to echo everybody's sentiments, there's a saying out there that if you don't have a seat at the table, you'll find yourself on the menu. We're not going to be anybody's dinner, so keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Let the record state that Commissioner LaFrance has joined us. Thank you for making it here. Again, Kim, next item on the agenda.
4, bids and advertisements, there are none. 5, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
We have one item. A resolution authorizing and directing the Port Chairman Brian Champagne to extend the employment contract of Melissa False as Deputy Port Director, Executive Counsel, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Next item.
6, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. There are no items under 6A. B will be deferred. C will be deferred.
Correction, on item B will be withdrawn because that project will have to be withdrawn. Its scope has changed significantly. It is now, the bidders are going to be notified that project has to be rebid because the scope has changed significantly. And the port will be reoffering that bid, and I believe it's out this Monday, correct?
We're starting the advertising.
Advertising this Monday.
Less than 3 weeks.
Roger that. Okay, Roger. Next item.
D, a resolution authorizing the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to dispose of an inoperable movable property, specifically to dispose of 2 generators on an as-is whereas basis in accordance with Louisiana statutes governing the disposal of movable property owned by a political subdivision of the state, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne.
I offer. Seconded by Commissioner McCarty. Any comments from the floor? From the port staff? From the commissioners? Machines are open. And the item passes 8-0. Next item.
E, a resolution authorizing the executive director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to engage the services of Blank to provide financial advisory services for the acquisition of revenue bonds aimed at supporting port expansion projects and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne. And this has changes.
We have changes in fill-in and blanks. The services of Stiefel is to provide, we're removing financial advisory. They're providing underwriting services now. The same information is in the digest. On line 15, the port seeks to engage qualified, the word financial firm, word financial has been removed, and to provide expert financial advisory is withdrawn. On line 17, Stiefel has been inserted as the firm. Financial advisory has been removed. Underwriting services has been put in.
Underwriting services.
Whereas on line 19, the firm's name's been put in.
Can you spell that so they can spell it correctly?
Stiefel. On line 21, financial has been removed, and the name of the firm has been inserted. On line 27, the name of the firm has been inserted, and that's it.
I offer with changes. Seconded by Commissioner McCarty. Any comments from the floor? From the port staff?
Yes, thank you. Stifel will be the underwriter as the port is seeking to secure revenue bonds. There is a representative from Stifel who's here. Josh, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Stifel, if that's okay, Mr. Chairman? Okay.
Please state your name and your address, please, for the record.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Joshua Hollins, Stiefel, 13467 Kings Court Avenue, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Thank you for the opportunity to be before you. We are excited to have the opportunity to work with the Plaquemines Port in the endeavor of seeking revenue bonds to help with the ongoing growing efforts at the Plaquemines Port. Stiefel is a national firm. We are a national publicly traded investment banking firm. However, our team here in Louisiana, made up of 6 investment bankers, we're all Louisiana born and raised, and we have worked across the state and have worked very hard to become the #1 underwriter here in the state of Louisiana for municipal bonds. We've provided some information. I had the opportunity to visit in depthly with Commissioner LaFrance and also Commissioner McCarty, just on the work that we've done with ports. So we've done a significant number of transactions with ports, especially on the revenue bond side. I know you all have some allocations with the Port Priority Program at the state. We have experience doing those transactions as well. And so we bring to bear all of our national resources, but we like to say we bring the local flair as well, in that we care about what happens because we're not flying in here. We lay our head down in Louisiana every night and want to make sure that our clients are well taken care of, and look forward to the opportunity of being able to serve the Plaquemines Port.
Do I have any comments from Mr. Holland from the floor? From the commissioners, Commissioner Schultz?
Just for clarification, it says port expansion projects. Can you clarify what this money will be used for, revenue bond?
So right now, we are looking at, obviously, the container terminal. We have flexibility within our SP contract, so if it's more advantageous for us to do a revenue bond and take out that other agreement, we have the ability to do that.
Okay, I yield.
Any other questions from commissioners? Mr. Hollins, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Barring any other questions, machines are open. And the resolution passes 6 yeas, 1 absent, and 1 against. Next item.
7, new business. 7A, introduction of resolutions where a suspension is being sought. 7A1, a resolution changing the meeting location of the May 9th, 2024 Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District meeting to the Point LaHash Courthouse Chambers, and the May 23rd, 2024 meeting to the Belle Chase Council Chambers, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne.
I offer, and ask for a second, this is for the suspension. That's seconded by Commissioner Schultz. This is for the suspension. Machines are open. And the suspension passes 8 present, 1 not voting. And now we will vote on the change of venue on the resolution. Machines are open.
Yeah, again.
Okay, please reread it.
A resolution changing the meeting location of the May 9th, 2024 Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District meeting to the Point LaHash Courthouse Chambers, and the May 23rd, 2024 meeting to the Belle Chase Council Chambers, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne.
So offered. Seconded by Commissioner Schultz. Any comments from the floor? From the port staff? From the commissioners? Machines are open. And the resolution passes 8 in favor, 0 against. Next item.
8, approval of the April 11th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
So offered. Seconded by Commissioner Schultz. Any comments from the floor, from the port staff, from the commissioners? Machines are open. And it passes 8 in favor, 1 absent. Next item. Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Schultz, seconded by Commissioner Jurisic. Machines are open.
She's the port queen.
Port queen, that's what the cards are going to say. Port queen? Now you're certified. And it passes 7 in favor, 1 absent. Let the record state that the Plaquemines Parish Port Harbor Terminal District meeting for April 25th has ended at 4:18 PM.